and girls, and welcome to the GBA Season 5 wrap-up video of mine. First of all, sorry that is not uploaded yesterday. I had a very busy day yesterday, and yeah, basically that's why it's a day late. I think one day late is still fine, in case you missed me or something like that. But yeah, this is the wrap-up video. Wrap-up video. And basically what I want to talk about here is basically about my mons I drafted, how they perform, if I'm happy about that, what can I improve, blah blah blah. And then just quickly going through the matches and yeah, seeing what happened there, and yeah, basically what my feelings are about the season, how do I evaluate my success or my not success, however you want to call it. But yeah, that's basically what this video is about. And yeah, first of all, the whole GBA season started for me like very surprisingly. It was very random. I did not expect to be ever asked to join the GBA. Like I just didn't. Like I know some guys from Twitter, like Miguel, John, Gubs, all these people. Like I didn't even know Gubs was coming back for the GBA, but and then they just dropped the message or the questions better said on me, and there was no other answer that. But basically it sounds very what's the word? It sounds very generic, but it was basically a dream coming true. I never thought I would happen to be there. I ended up in another league, which I was very happy with to that point. But yeah, I always of course you think, oh okay, I would love to be there, blah blah blah. But I mean, I'm a realistic guy, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's not happening. I'm standing as a fan, but then they just dropped it on me, and I was a very happy guy. Let's say it like that. There was some alcohol in the night involved. But yeah, that's not the story for here. Basically, that's just how this whole thing started, and then going into the draft, of course, going through the picks right now, and looking at the first one, of course. There's one of the main members of the Borussia Dortmund squad of this season, which is none other than Landers Incarnate, which was my first pick of the GBA draft, and it definitely was worth it. Like, I know for a fact that if I wouldn't have gotten it in the first round, another one would have gotten it, and it wouldn't have come back to me, and it's looking just how it performed this season. You should see all these stats right here, something like that. So it was definitely worth it. 16 kills, 4 deaths. It has the highest amount of kills and best differential in general of my team. It's an Uber in the standard Smogon. In many other leagues it is banned. In GBA it's allowed. I think it's definitely you can definitely discuss about that if it should be allowed or not. It's very good, I agree with that, but you can see here that only because you have Lando, it's not I don't have an automatic win stuff like that. The 4 times weakness hinders it, but I was very happy with Lando. If you have Lando in the league, it's definitely worth a first round pick if you want to build around Lando and stuff like that, if you just want to use it. What it hinders a bit is of course the 4 times S weakness, so you have to, if you want to run a setup variant or something like that, or you have your Ice Shard or a random hidden power or something, you are reliant on Yachi Berry, and this gives a lot of power away from the life up it usually has. And because you usually run a mixed variant, it has fantastic physical and special offensive moves and stats. So you usually want to run a mixed variant, then you have Naive, or like a minus def or minus defense nature, so you can take hits as well. But it's great. It's so great that I even think about franchise tagging Lando I. Did so well this season, and I don't want to face anyone having a Lando I, to be honest. So I'm thinking about franchise tagging it, so leave your thoughts about that in the comments, please. So in general, if you have any questions about anything regarding this season or the upcoming season, leave them in the comments. Of course, I can't spoil any draft picks, like what will your mega be, or what blah blah blah. Like, I can't spoil any of those because other coaches can read it and snipe me and all that good stuff. This is still a Borussia Dortmund secret what the next draft will be and how it will be done. So yeah, you can questions like that, yeah, don't expect them to get answered. Or maybe you get a troller answer, who knows? Something like that. But yeah, Lando definitely worth the first round pick, definitely worth all the points I paid for it, and yeah, I'm thinking of franchise taking it. Then next up we got Azumarill. I feel kind of bad for Azumarill. It's such a great mon, but it only brought it to 6 games. It still did amazingly with 6 and 3 differential, which is basically 1 kill each game, which is very good and nothing less expected from an Azumarill. To be honest, I would have preferred picking, like looking at my whole draft, how it turned out and stuff like that, I would have preferred Sylveon on that pick. I had the choice between Azumarill and Sylveon. Clefairy was already picked, Togekiss was already picked, and I want the Fairy in my second round, and Looking at my whole squad, I would have preferred Sylveon there because I don't have any kind of cleric. That's like in general the whole biggest weakness of my draft in my draft, because I don't have a cleric. If something gets status, it is status, unless I have a Lumberry or a Refresh or something like that. I don't have a Raw Fabry or a Heal Bell basically. So that was one weakness of my draft I saw, and I couldn't sadly fix it with a cleric I'm comfortable with. So looking back, I would have preferred Sylveon, but Azumarill still did great. I didn't brought it to as many games, so like I said, I would have preferred maybe another pick there, but it still did great. It won some matches. I just won because I had no choice between Azumarill on Assault this Azumarill. Belly Drum Azumarill did not work for me this season, and now a set I want to use was the Perish Trap set, but I never thought there was the right time for that, so Azumarill, great mon. It's one-dimensional, you have to be sure about that. It's a physical, it's strong attacker, either bandit, and it can take some hits, of course, with Assault is better and stuff like that. Maybe you can set up with a Belly Drum, which is kind of difficult in League format, but it's possible. So, but yeah, it just excels in what it does. It's great typing, great priority, great attack stat, and great bulk. That's Azumarill for you. And yeah, next up, I want my hazard removal option, and I had to look for that in the lower tiers, because obviously with Landorus and Azumarill, I had 2 tier 1 picks, so I have to look good in the lower tiers. And my favorite hazard remover for the lower tiers was still around, which is none other than Crobat with very good speed stat. That's the first one you see if you see Crobat. I'm very happy how Crobat performed. I picked it as a hazard removal option, but I actually brought hazard removal like only to 3 games, I think. I think 1 time Sand Slash and 2 times Defog on Crobat. Like all the other games, which are 10 in total, I never brought hazard removal, which is not because I don't mind what you call it. Let's start a sentence again. It's basically just because my team is not very rocks weak, and I could afford, which in the season it proved to be right, and in the playoffs Dan did never get rocks up with me, I think, so it was right, I think. So, and I always wanted another move on Crobat, because it's such great utility. Bulky, it can bulky through, it's very fast, brave, but Taunt, Super Fang, Toxic, Infiltrator, Toxic. If your opponent is behind a sub, Crobat doesn't care about all that. In case the opponent has a Mega Lopan or something like that, you can just inner focus on it, and you don't get flinch by Fake or kill it with a Brave Bird. All great utilities Crobat has. That's why it has a -3 differential for me, but it was more of a utility mon, and it did a very good job at being a utility mon. I definitely recommend Crobat, as Crobat is my favorite lower tier hazard removal. Let's say it like that. Like Zapdos is tiered UU at the moment, but not usually in draft leagues. And Crobat, like I'm not a fan of Tentacruel at all. Like I don't like Tentacruel at all. That's just me. I'm not a fan of Tentacruel. I won't never pick Tentacruel. Maybe at some point if I'm very desperate, but I hate Tentacruel. And that's why Crobat is my favorite. Crobat is better than Tentacruel, that's what most can agree on, but Tentacruel is trash. Like, of course, I know all the arguments why Tentacruel is better than most of the other hazard removal, but I just don't like Tentacruel. Bob will get me, Tentacruel is not good. But why do I talk about Tentacruel? I'm talking about my draft. But yeah. Next pick was Cobalion. I want the Steel type there, and I decided myself for Cobalion, which is very early for Cobalion. Like usually you see that in a later pick. But I want my Steel type there, and Cobalion was the best I thought would be around. And Cobalion did great for me this season. Every time I brought it, I won the game. Actually, 6 games brought, 6 games won, +1 differential. Cobalion did great. Great utility, like Crobat 2. Great speed. It can go offensive in both spectrums, like with 90 attack and 90 special attack. It doesn't matter which route you go. Usually you see the physically offensive more often, because you don't rely on Focus Blast as your fighting step on the special side. But I could catch some people off guard with the special Cobalion with Volt Switch, Hidden Power, and Flash Cannon, stuff like that. Great Rocker, great Taunter, great with Volt Switch, of course, Momentum Gainer and stuff like that. I would have preferred probably another steel, like a pure steel type, or like a speed type with another typing, because the problem is if you're steel fighting is that you're not resistant to psychic, you're not resistant to fairy, and you're not resistant to flying, which are usually 2 resistances steel puts for your team, which are kind of important. So I would have probably preferred a pure steel type, or with another typing like a Bronzong or whatever, Metagross. They are both Psychic Steel. What else we have? We no need to talk about that. But Cobalion did great, but I probably would have preferred another Steel type. But no need to bash Cobalion. Cobalion is a great steel type, but great bulk, great speed, lack a bit on the offense, but it can with the bulk and speed, it can pretty easily set up, be it Calm Mind, be it Sword Stance, be it Substitute, whatever you want to do with that thing. I love Cobalion, and it did great, but I probably will get a pure steel type next season. Who knows? Maybe I get Cobalion again. I usually don't like getting the same mons again from last season, like an enormous amount of them. Like, for example, I was of course thinking of franchise taking Landorus, but I want to try out new stuff. That's what League's for me all about. I want to try new stuff every season, and yeah, that's the exciting thing about it. I don't want to use this like the same team twice or the same tactic twice and stuff like that. I don't like being stale, and you have to move on and try different drafts. That's what League is about. But yeah, next pick for me was Tangrowth. Tangrowth is and still is my favorite defensive grass type you can get. It's arguably not as good as other grass types like Shaman, for example, and stuff like that, but Tangrowth is just, it's my straight up favorite. I brought it close, like you see Spätzle, I brought it close to every game with 9 games brought, and of course it doesn't have a negative differential because it's more of a bulky mon. I used it as a Salt Disease or stuff like that to take hits, giving a bit damage output back and bring in range of all my more offensive mons, but Tangrowth is great physical bulk, great huge HP stat, and is again a mixed attacker with a 100 attack set, 110 special attack set, and it has a huge move pool on both sides. Knockoff, Rock Slide, Earthquake, Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, Hidden Power, Sludge Bomb, and so on and so on. If you don't run Assault Vest, you can put Sleep Hold or Leech Seed. I love all the options Tangrowth gives me. The Assault Vest is arguably the best variant because you can take hits from both sides of the spectrum. That's why I brought it so often. Like, I think only in 3 games I didn't brought an Assault as Tangrowth, but with Regenerated, Assault works great, and you can tailor its moveset to anything your opponent has, of course, with all the options it has. And yeah, otherwise you're pretty weak on the special side, but with the Assault you can take hits from both sides, and I love Tangrowth. I wouldn't mind drafting Tangrowth again. That's how much I like Spätzle over there. Tangrowth is great. Okay. Next up, I picked Sandslash in the original draft because... Oh, not Sandslash, Regirock, yeah. Regirock was here because I want a flying switch in. Because, of course, Cobalion, like I said, is not resistant to flying, even though it's steel type. Tangrowth is weak to it, and all the other hits hit neutral too, and flying spam is a... People who are drafting flying spam stuff, and flying spam in general is a tactic often seen, so I want to have a resistance to that, and Regirock is like the prime resistance to that. I never got to use Regirock. I traded away very quickly because for, I will talk about that once I go over that mon. So I can't really talk about how, Regirock did not perform in any way for the Bushido fans, so I won't talk about that too much, but from experience, it's a great mon. I love it. Many people forget that it has still a very nice special defense stat of 100, so if you run a special defense set, you can take it from both sides of the spectrum, and there's still a 100 base attack set, so Stone Edge will hurt, be it Drain Punch, Thunder Wave, Stealth Rock. All nice stuff, but yeah, that's Regirock for here. He was part of the team, but he basically wasn't. Okay, what I got for him was Delphox. Delphox was the whole reason I made these transfers with my other mons too. Once I saw that Steve dropped Delphox, I wanted Delphox. Delphox is one of my favorite fire types, and that's because it has so many options. It can so many gimmicky stuff you can do with Delphox. Like, I tried 2 times in the league, they never worked out, of course, because my opponent didn't brought what they wanted to, but I love Delphox. It not only has its strong fire stab and fire blast, of course, it has Psyshock 2 hit on the physical side, it gets Grass Knot, Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Low Kick, like already used, and like I said, all the gimmicky stuff, Roleplay, Psych Up, Switcheroo, all this nice stuff you can use with Delphox. Like you can see, it performed pretty decent. Like, I only brought it to 4 games, but every time I brought it, it did basically what it had to do. I would have wished it would have done a bit more with the 2 times I brought gimmicky stuff. That basically didn't do anything, because my opponent didn't brought the things I wanted to set up with Delphox, or kill something with Delphox, stuff like that. But I love Delphox as a fire type. There are only a few fire types I like more than Delphox, because all the stuff it can do, and I definitely recommend drafting Delphox over like fire types like Typhlosion, which are like straight fire types. They have Fire Stab, Hidden Power, Focus Blast, and that's what Typhlosion does. Delphox has way more options. It can set up, it can do some gimmicky stuff, so Delphox is a great mon. Delphox is a cool dude. Yeah. Next up, I drafted the second part of my Regenerator core, which is Slowking, and that was an amazing choice of mine. In my opinion, that was an amazing choice. They did perform amazingly together. This Regenerator core caused so many problems for so many people. Tangrowth was so physically bulky. Slowking, on the other hand, is so specially bulky. The max special defense variant with Assault versus Fist was so great. It shut down this Mega Charizard Y, which would have been a huge threat to my team. It has even more coverage options than Slow Bro, because it gets Power Gem, for example. And Dragon Tail. I don't think if Slow gets Slow or Dragon Tail. it may get ranked. I don't know. I didn't look in the store, but I don't like drafting it because it's such high cost for not that good of a mon. In comparison to Slowking, which is like 2 tiers lower, but arguably still as good, like just on the other side. But yeah, that's Slowking. I loved it a lot. I tried to use it call mine. I brought it to 6 games. It has a positive differential, even though it's more of a defensive mon. So Slowking was great. Slowking is great. Like, the only problem with Slowking and me is that I like to stack, and like not in this draft, but in general in drafts, I like to stack up Psychic types. I don't know, the second typing Psychic is something I stack up on most of the times. Like, you get Ladias, Bronzong, Slowking, Jirachi, all these good mons, Reuniclus, and they're all Psychic type, and they tend to stack up on me, but this time I still make a good job with only getting 1 Psychic type, so... 2 with Delphox, yeah, of course I got Delphox too. Yeah, see, Delphox is Psychic type too. Why are all the cool monsters Psychic type? I don't know. But yeah, Slowking, I love it. Definitely recommend drafting Slowking. It was a great help in basically everything. I never used Trick Room Slowking, because my team was so fast, and I did not feel in any way that Trick Room would help me. Maybe it would help versus Mulvone if we ever faced, because the team is so fast, but we didn't, so no need to use that. Next up, we talk about Scolipede, and Scolipede I only brought to 3 games, and even though it has a +3 differential, I'm not very happy with picking up Scolipede. It was an experiment. Like I said in my draft analysis, I'm not very comfortable with using Scolipede. I never used it before in any league or in Showdown in general, barring maybe a few times, but nothing I can remember there. Scolipede, I thought, yeah, Scolipede, you're doing well. I love you, Scolipede. That was more like, okay, Scolipede, what can I do? Sounds fine, let's pick it. And yeah, I did pick it. I tried to do some stuff with it, and it never really. I thought okay, yeah, Scolipede will hazard stack. I like more the defensive hazard stack, which can take some hits. Scolipede, you would have to invest, and it's not really built to take hits. Sometimes I tried to sweep with it itself, with with a speed boost and life up set like that, but Megahorn missed on that occasion, so that didn't really work out. The one time it worked pretty great was versus Fist, where I got Baton Pass 2 times to my Landorus, and that was great. But yeah, Scolipede, I probably won't draft it again. Like, I would have probably rather had Hooper, which I had a potential with, because I want to try out Hooper in League format, but it would have been another Psychic type. So it's another Psychic type, which I think is great. But okay, Hooper, I would have preferred using Hooper and see what that thing can do, but Scolipede, it was an experiment. Now I know that Scolipede is not my kind of thing. Scolipede is still pretty good, I think. In someone else's hands, it can probably do more than in my hands. My hands are just wrong for Scolipede. I'd rather use other stuff. But yeah, Scolipede. We tried. It's still good, but not as good as I would hope for a tier 2 pick, of course. I only brought 4 types. But okay, next up we picked up Druddigon, and Druddigon did very good. The Ruskin Rocky Helmet combo I brought so often was working so well for me. I only brought Sheer Force once, I think. I kind of feel bad that I never used an offensive variant. I always had him specially or physically defensive, shake some kind of hits, or get up rocks, or glare something, and suck up a priority, blah blah blah. All this good stuff. But the one thing I like about Druddigon the most, especially since I had Landorus Eye, is that it's a pure dragon type and not one of those dragons which is 4 times weak to ice, like Salamence, Garchomp, Dragonite. Yeah, it is weird. Like, I like the mono dragons more, or like dragons which are only 1 time weak to ice, like Hydreigon, Goodra, Druddigon, Hexorus. I like the dragon a lot, and at that point I need a dragon, I need a low tier dragon, and I'm happy that I got Druddigon. Druddigon for a tier 4 pick, it did amazingly. I brought it to 5 games, that's more than I brought Scolipede, which is a tier 2 pick, so definitely worth it, I need now Rocker, and if you can get Druddigon in your league and it's as low as in the GBA, I definitely recommend getting that. It's slow, you have to see that, but it can take hits, it can dish out hits if you invest in the attack, and has nice move pull options. Of course, it has some special things, but the damage is kind of lacking. Like, I even calc like a special Druddigon for the Aggron of Dan with Sheer Force, Life of Fire Blast, and the damage output was still lacking. So, but offensive-wise, it had many options: Sucker Punch, Pursuit, Dragon Claw, Dragon Tail, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Earthquake. All this good stuff. Various options. I love Druddigon. Crunch, of course, too. So yeah, Druddigon is a cool dude. I like Druddigon. I'm still thinking, like, of course, if I for instance like Lando, I'm thinking of getting another pure Dragon type. I don't know if it's going to be Druddigon again. I will try to fish for now one probably, but depending on how the draft goes, who knows? I can't tell that yet. I'll do something else. So next up, I got Sandslash here, which I only brought to 1 game, in which it did what it had to do. But the main reason I wanted Sand Slash on my team was because I wanted the second Hazard movement option, Byron Crobat, and the Rapid Spinner and Sand Slash, and I wanted Electric Immunity, which is not 4 times weak to Ice, for the Fast Electric types around. Looking at the first thing with the Hazard removal, I already got all of that. I close to never brought Hazard removal, so I thought Hazard is not that useful, or I don't need it anymore. I'd rather get something else. And second of all was the Electric Immunity was 4 times Ice weakness for the fast electric types around. I had Tangrowth for that. Tangrowth did an amazing job in shutting down most, or like close to every fast electric type in the league with the Assault Vest variant. Of course, resisted the electric stab. HP Ice isn't doing much, and I can scare him out with Earthquake or knock off Giga Drain, all this good stuff. So I didn't really need that too, so I decided to drop Sand Slash for Luxray in the combo trade with Delphox, which I did go over on Twitter. But yeah, I got Luxray because I had no electric type yet. I needed now a flying resistance, and with Intimidate and stuff like that, Luxray did a great job. I brought more defensive variants, but for a low tier mon, I only bought 3 games, because of course it's a low tier mon. You won't bring it anytime. You will bring it in a few occasions in which it will have to do what it has to do, and that is what Luxray does. That's only in the first match I brought versus Geo did underperform, but that was not Luxray's fault. It was my fault because I brought an Assault Vest variant, another Tri-Scout variant, which I brought in the second game and which did do very good. And the other time I brought it was versus John as the defensive variant to check the Mega Scissor. It did miss a Fire Fang, but it hit in the end, so it did what it had to do. And for a low tier mon, I love the option of Luxray. If you don't have any other electric type in your draft, like me, I definitely recommend Luxray in such a low tier, such a great mon. Physically, offensive options, again, especially offensive options to potentially go mix. Intimidate, Guts as status absorber, which was nice since I don't have a Heal Bella. I can scare maybe people who go for Toxic or something like that if I have Luxray around. But yeah, Luxray did very good. I'm happy with getting Luxray. It was the first time I tried Luxray out in League format. I had the choice between Luxray and Electivire actually once I want to trade, and I decided for Luxray because it can take more hits with Intimidate, and yeah, that's what I did. I love you, Luxray. You did a very good job, Luxray. Okay, and as last, we are talking about Mega Absol and Mega Emo. God damn it. Mega Emo got the mascot of the team, I would say. He was the captain of the team again too, and Mega Absol is great. Like, I was trying it for the first time in League format in this league. I never had experience with it. Of course, I used it on Showdown. I saw other people using it in the league, like not so famous people. Like in the GBA, only Gubs used Mega Absol, which didn't really suit his taste and didn't really perform well. But on paper, it looked great with all the coverage options, all the utility options, the nice speed, nice attack, nice special attacks that of course it can take any hits, but yeah, that's Mega Absol for you. It can't take any hits. You have to Mega off on a revenge kill or on a free switch, or if you scare something out, stuff like that. You can't just Mega Evolve, take a hit, and yeah, and hope to survive. That's not how Mega Absol works. And it was great. Like, I thought it would be good, and it got way past that expectation of mine. It was the second, offensive-wise, the second strongest mon on my team with 15 kills, 4 deaths, 11 differential. Only Lando I is better, which is like for a tier 2 Mega versus Lando I, which is considered an Uber in Smogon, and that's a pretty close. It got pretty close. I love Mega Absol. It was a very good experiment. I never regretted drafting it, and Mega Emo has now a place in my heart as the captain of Season 1 for Brusher Dawn fan, and it did overperform by far. Like, I knew it would do good, but not this good. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised how well Mega Absol did. I don't know if it's just because Mega Absol is so amazing. There's some talk about bringing it to tier 1 now, or if it was because I was the right coach for it. I want to believe it's the second one. The opinions may differ, but that's it, and Mega Absol is great. I definitely like, if you feel comfortable using Mega Absol and you have the team support for it, then definitely draft it. It's a great option. But yeah, this is all talk about my draft. Let's see how many minutes are we in. 23 minutes. Okay, now we can talk about the matches. Yeah, just scanning through the matches. Like a bit short. That's the shorter part of this wrap-up video. I want to talk more about the mons, so I can use that as advice for other league players, so they can see how mons did perform in my opinion and what they can draft and all this good stuff. So now just wrapping up the season and seeing at each matchup and how that went. Basically going through. The first week was versus George and the San Francisco Arcaniners, which I won 2-0, and that was a very nice win for me. Many people were still underestimating George's draft at this point. He was like very low in the power rankings, and not many people believed in his draft, barring only George himself. And it was, for many, it was not a surprise. for me to win versus George. Like, just looking at the draft, it was the first week. Of course, we are all new to the draft, but many people were thinking I would win this, and I did win. But looking how did George perform now, he's in the freaking finals. I'm very happy I got this win, and I'm very happy I was able to face George in week 1, because the one thing he didn't do in week 1 versus me, which I'm very happy about, is he didn't brought Gothitelle. I don't know if he thought Gothitelle was not a good matchup with me, or I was not confident using Gothitelle yet. But after week 1, he started using Gothitelle, and he started his climb up to the finals, to the power rankings, all that good stuff. And yeah, I was able to win versus George. So if you win the finals, I'm still undefeated versus you, George. So take that. Take that. I won this potential champion. I take that. I take that every day. But yeah. In week 2, we were facing Top and the Pittsburgh Piratas. He just, in week 1, I think he got a win versus Scaps with the hidden power Amber Pump, so he was impressing many people, including myself, so I was in no way underestimating Top, even though he had a underwhelming season before that. So, and I could win this 3-0, basically because my Scarf Cobalion could pull through with the Dragon Dance Mega Tyranitar, which would have been a huge threat otherwise. And because and I could Pursue Trap the Jadison with Mega Absol. Like, same versus George, I could Pursue Trap his Rotom. Mega Absol was a key member on both of these matches. And Cobalion on the versus Top as well. And yeah, great match. But the Scarfed Cobalion was really a surprise, which sealed the deal for me. And yeah, that's why Cabra is a cool dude. Next week, I was facing Dan and the Santos Ramporters for the first time, which I lost 3-0. And that's basically because I never... How can I describe? I never played a guy like Dan. Like, in the match, in the narration, I was complaining a lot that I don't understand his plays and can't agree with them, blah, blah, blah. All this salty stuff you hear after your first loss in GBA. Like, he just outplayed me. He just outplayed me. I couldn't predict him, he could predict me, and that's why I won, basically. I still had even a shot at winning at some point. I just didn't saw it. I was not focusing right, and yeah, that's why I deserved to lose there, and Dan deserved to win, and that... He outplayed me. I could not predict him, and yeah, but he could predict me and all this good stuff. The Sylveon was a problem. Like, I switched just as a mule and it straight up dies. So that's kind of a story with Dan. You will see in the other match, but yeah, that was the first encounter with me and Dan got the better of me in that one. So next week we are facing Fizz and the Atlanta Luchas, who were undefeated at that point, but that was just the Lando show. That's what I want to call the Lando show. Lando had such a great matchup with him. If he could have just hit goddamn rock slides. I missed so many rock slides in this game, it's not even funny. And if I would just hit a bit more rock slide, the game would have maybe even gotten a better win of me, but with Slowking handling the Mega Charge at Y, and Lando putting in so much work with Speed, Baton Pass from Scolipede and stuff like that, that match was pretty handily, pretty good win, let's say it like that. Like, Slowking shut down so many on his team. It shut down the Togekiss, it shut down the Mega Charge, it shut down the Starmie. He did not thanks Goldie got brought the Tyranitar and Lando with Rock Slide. If he could just hit some, it would have been greater, but that's how Lando works for you. Sometimes he misses, and sometimes he even misses more than one time. But yeah, good win versus Fizz. This is the win I gladly remind him often. if he's on his heat run and stuff like that. But yeah, good win for me. Good job Slowking, good job Lando on this one. Next up, we were facing Geo for the first time in the San Francisco G Entails, which we actually lost 2 and 3 because of a timeout with a -1 differential because of that. And yeah, I choked that game. That's what I can say. This game I straight out choked. Because, yeah, I decided I could switch out with the Mega Pinsir, he could go for SD, and that basically won him the game. I could have, it was a controversy, I could have time stalled the game at the end to still win, but that's not how the Brush Down performs. I'd rather take the loss than going down to tactics like time stalling my opponent, especially in a match this early in the season, which doesn't really matter. Like, it was in week 5, I still had 7 matches to go to get wins back, to get back into good differential and all this good stuff. But yeah, I choked this game away. I basically was in control the whole match until that point, and then it just was all gone. Like, before that already, then Probot got damaged because he earthquaked me on my roost, which was a good call on his part. So yeah, that game cost because I was a dummy. And yeah, that happens. So, next week we were facing John and the New Orleans Pelipers in a 3-0 manner, and that's because Tangrowth did amazingly, and basically it did amazingly because it crit so much. I feel it's sorry for John, but He brought Reuniclus like a physically defensive assault variant, so he can take hits from both sides of the spectrum, and it was a pain. With a generator, it was a fucking pain to bring that thing down. And I was very glad that Tangrowth could pull through with some crits on this, so he doesn't regenerate too much health back. I lost Mega Absol on a very foolish way, or a good prediction on John, whatever you want to, on which side you want to, who want to criticize or who want to praise. I lost Mega Absol very foolishly versus the Uniclus, because I thought he would go for a Psychic move, but he did go for Single Beam, kill me, and that was my best answer to this goddamn Uniclus, and it was very good of Tangrowth that he got some crits versus this thing, so I can wear it down. And yeah, that was getting very close down to the wire. If he would have SD'd after my Fire Fang myth, he could have actually not won again, but that was the same as me with Lando versus Dan. Sometimes you just don't see these plays, which could potentially win. You're not really focused. You're focused on other stuff which happens in the battle, and you don't see the right play at the moment. But yeah, Luxray did amazingly. Tangrowth did very good as too. I'm kind of sorry for Mega Absol that I kind of just sacked it, because I made a foolish play, or John made an amazing prediction. No, wait, I think he could go for Signal Beam on Tangrowth, so it was more of a foolish play of mine, I think. I'm sorry, John, but that was me being a dummy again. But I still won 3-0 because Tangrowth did said, come on, Lars, you know, you did a dummy there, but okay, I get you out of that again. Yeah, that's how I won this one. So, week 7, we were facing Crimson Seabed and the Detroit Steelwings, and we lost that 0-2. I said already in the team battle and stuff like that, that in this match I probably had the worst matchup of all my matches, because Staraptor just dismantles my whole team. Like I already said, my only flying resist is the Luxray, and Luxray, even the physically defensive variant with Intimidate, gets still 2-hit KO'd by a double edge, so that's not a switch-in, that's not what I call a switch-in, so it definitely was a problem. Same with the Mega Charizard X. I kind of overprepped to it, at least that's what people tell me, and I kind of agree. Like, he didn't broad it, and it bit me in the ass. I did not prepare enough for the Credilly, which was a pain to take down from my side. And I did not expect him to Credilly, and doing that well, I did not have enough coverage moves to deal with the Credilly. And yeah, and then I got a bit unlucky again with the Mega Horn miss and him getting up spikes. Otherwise, I could have potentially, I think, won, but that's all hindsight. Like, he out-prepped me. Be it because he prepped bad, good, or I just prepped bad, then the matchup and a bit of unluckiness there. There are no excuses. I lost that fair and square. Crimson played very good this game. I tried my best to play good too, but yeah, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Crimson was on his A game, prep wise and game wise, and that's why I won 0-2 versus me. 0-2, he won 2 now, of course. And yeah, the week after that, we were facing Hayden, and like versus Fist was the Lando show, this was the Mega Absol show. I could very nicely predict what he could bring, and Mega Sable, I just can do nothing versus Mega Emo, and if I could scare him out very early with Mega Emo, like seeing that he probably leave with Mega Sable to get this Mega off, and that made me getting at my rocks because he doesn't have a Magic Bounce user, and with rocks and with Mega Emo around, he basically had nothing. He had all the coverage moves I need for all his team, and Mega Emo was getting 5 kills this game. It was amazing. Mega Emo pulling through in that game, and yeah, that's how I got this 4 victory, because Mega Emo is boss. Next up, we were facing the rematch versus Dan, the guy we lost before. Now we won 3-0, and that's basically because I had more of the feeling how Dan plays. I basically brought the same team, like a few changes, but still the same tactic. Up, Rock Polish, Landorus, and then the mons were kind of the same, only one mon changed, and the missions they have to do were the same, just movesets and EVs changed, so they could take on them a bit more better, seeing what he bought last time. But yeah, basically I brought about the same team twice. One time I won, one time I lost. That just shows that in the first game Dan outplayed me. In this I had more of the feeling of what Dan does, and I could outplay him. Let's say it like that. At least I hope I could outplay him. There were some DC manners, which I want to address shortly. Of course, there's a controversy with DCs because in Dan live recording, because we had to redo this thing with some switches of rocks, his Blastoise was lower than it would have been. But I don't know if you watched my version of the match. Like, in my version I recreated the match too with Blastoise, and it was not at that low amount of health. We were doing some other switches to get to the same situation, and it did not matter. I recalced everything with Dan, and I had the Yachi Berry. He would have gone for Icy Wind. The drop wouldn't matter. I still outspeed everything on his team, and yeah, it did not matter in the end. Like, something else did matter in the end too, but we will go to that later. Next up, we were facing Shady and the New York Yankees, and this, like, they had the Mega Absol show, we had the Lander show, and this is the Regenerator Core show. It was so, so satisfying to see the Regenerator Core work that way. Shady just had nothing to take this on. Like, a Special Torpedo would have been pretty big versus the core, but of course I could have still dealt with it, but it would have been pretty big for the core, because they can take hits as well from a Special Torpedo, but with the team he brought, he basically couldn't do anything versus my squad with Slowking and Tangrowth and stuff like that. So, it was not a very exciting match, I agree on that, because I just had switches for all this stuff, and after I get up rocks, I just need to switch around, weaken and stuff like that, and then at the end swap with Mega Absol again. That's how the match went out that way. It was just the Regenerator Core was too strong in this one. I could pretty much predict what Shady was bringing, because he was bringing the kind of the same stuff every week, so I could tailor my movesets and EV spreads and stuff like that, and it worked perfectly in this match. Next up, we had the rematch versus Tup, and this, once again, Tangrowth pulling through with all the hacks he could get. Like, he's getting all the crits, all the misses. He missed 2 gang shots in a row versus my Tangrowth. Poor Tup, I feel sorry for that. Like, then I crit the Celebi, I crit the Animal Palm, I crit everything in my way, and I can Toxic the Arcanine, which fails to kill me, and with all the recall, Rocky Helmet, and the Toxic, it was great. It was a great showing from Tangrowth. Of course, I'm sorry for Tup for all the hacks. That's not what you usually want to see. I'd rather win in a clean way than that, like that, but what can you do? Tangrowth decided to be dodgy and be gritty like that, and he had 3 items this week. Like, the first round 1 of this match basically went totally like expected with the Yachi Berry Landorus. I was able to trade health on my Landorus for all the health of Thundurus, worth every time, in my opinion. So that worked out perfectly like I planned, and after that it was like, I think I could still have won even without the hacks, but not in the 4-0, maybe a 2-0-3 or something like that, but or maybe even a 1-0 depending on how things go. But Tangrowth just, he thought, okay, second to last game, let's give you some hacks so you can win high. I mean, that's how Spätzle is. He's that kind of guy, don't blame me. But okay, week 12, rematch versus Geo, we won 4-0, that was basically because I think his prep was not as good as in the first match. Like in the first match, I was pretty much in control until I choked, but his prep was not on point really. He didn't brought the Hippowdon, which made Luxray very threatening to his team. I else had everything, and I could Volt Switch on everything, or just go for Crunch or anything like that. And he... what happened to... Let me think. And he brought the Latias, of course. And the Latias with Mono Dragon Stab, which gives me every time a free stitch into my Bandit Azumarill. And with only his Amoonguss as check to Azumarill, don't let me lie, Amoonguss is pretty good check to Azumarill. It gets to it KO'd, of course, by Ice Punch, but Regenerator back, and he switches to Ice Punch. But like that, I could basically weaken his team. Every time Latias came in, I had a free stitch to Azumarill, and that's why Azumarill put in so much work in that match. I still think I played good, of course, but I think this was because my Geo may disagree, or his fans or anyone may disagree, but I think his prep was not as good as in the last match versus him, where I still could have won, of course, but there the win is so high. Like 4-0 is I consider that a big win. 3-0 is decent, and 2-0, 1-0 are the close ones. So yeah, that's how I won this game. I'm still sorry for Geo that I basically kicked him out of the playoff race, but I mean, and on the other hand, I brought that in, so I hurt one, I helped the other, so it's kind of even, but yeah, that's how this works. Then we are in the playoffs, and we are facing Dan for the third time in a row. One time we won, one time we lost, and we face him for the third time. And yeah, the first time I made it clear, like many people of you know that already, because they either got told by me in the comments, or by ADRAF fans in the comments, or they saw it in ADRAF's video in the comments, or from ADRAF the comment himself. A lot of comments happened, but basically I won. Oh wait, the para didn't matter at all. Like it didn't. Yeah, like how it played out, it didn't matter at all, because even if I would have not paralyzed, I would not be able to break the sub of Victini with Pursuit or a Dragon Tail, whatever move I would go for. Both would not break the sub. Dragon Tail had like a very slim chance, but that's like I don't count that as a chance. So the para did not matter. What was more annoying were the rolls from Tango versus Sylveon, so I did kill it, and the roll from Landorus versus Salamence. But that was my personal mistake. I had no reason to not click HBIs at that moment, but for some reason I thought I clicked Psychic. Like, my plan was to bait out the Blastoise or the Uxie so I can Belly Drum, and so an HBIs would have worked just as well. Like, he wouldn't go into Mega Aggron unless he knows for some reason that I'm Scarfed, which I gave him no reason to. I didn't outspeed anything, which was Scarfed on his side, so he had no real confirmation that I'm Scarfed, and I thought he would be hesitant to think that I'm Scarfed, seeing that last time he thought I was Scarfed too, and I could set up and won like that. But yeah, that's basically my fault for with Psychic, but the rolls on Sylveon were annoying. I lost my Crobat with some over predictions. I thought his Sylveon was Expert Belt. It actually wasn't. That's why the calcs were so close, and I thought, okay, I can't roost up if he's Expert Belt, let's switch out, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and it just didn't work out. I made some mistakes this mismatch. Dan out-prepped me. Like, I brought kind of similar team 3 times in a row. Like, this third team was like the most different, but you have to get creative, of course, if you face the same guy for 3 times in a row. Otherwise, you will know what you will bring. But Dan got more creative than me. The Subfectini was on point with Bolt Strike. I was thinking it was physical, but it was special. Could get a good amount of damage on my Azumarill and all the other stuff. And yeah, it was a pain, this Victini. Victini was definitely the MVP of this match, and I had trouble taking that down with the sub on my Stealth Rock. I still stayed to my Stealth Rock play. I think there was the right play at that point, because I had no reason to assume that he would go for sub. But he did, and that's why he outprepped me. And with the Rose, I still had a chance, but I had to take HBI, so that's on me. So yeah, congrats to Dan. Like, I was a bit mad about the para, but it seems it was for no reason. Yeah, he outprepped me. I made some mistakes in playing, and yeah, that's how it works. Dan is the playoffs, I am not. But yeah, looking at this season in general, I'm very happy with how the regular season went. Of course, like, I was ending as the best in differential differential and win-loss ratio. That's the 2 things. Yeah, I was ending the best in regular season from all, not only a conference champion. Like, from all, I had the best differential and win-loss ratio, which was very good. Definitely was the thing I was aiming for. But my showing in the playoffs was just not what I wanted to see. Like I'm preaching all the time. My aim was to win the whole season, and I didn't do that. So I'm not satisfied. Of course, I think the regular season went very well. I'm happy with that, but I'm not happy with my playoff performance. I'm not content with the whole outcome. Like, I think 8 best in the GBA, and we are 60 people, so like I'm right in the middle. So that's not where Bursha Donphan belongs. We belong at the top. So I'm not happy with that works out, but nothing I can do about that now. I just have to pull that anger and frustration into the next season, so I can pull through there and make the next season the season of the Bursha Donphan, and that's the plan. Getting the championship again, then in the division, then conference, and then the whole thing. 3 steps to victory for the Bursha Donphan, and yeah, that's how we do it. Roller to the cup, that was the hashtag for this season. I maybe think of another hashtag for next season, who knows, maybe I get creative, maybe not. But yeah, this is all for this video. Just one thing I want to say at the end. Thank you for all the support all you people gave me. Like, I know my channel got very much growth because of the GBA. Like, I was around 200 subscriber, and then GBA 1.4k, and what I want, first of all, thanks for all the support, be it from all the fans which supported the Donphan and all. I was very happy to see that. Like, I didn't expect anything. Like, I'm the new guy, of course, and nobody knows me, basically, barring my friends from before. And I was happy to see that there's so many people actually which decided to root for me for various reasons. Be it because I'm a German guy, be it because I played well, be it because I'm looking good. I mean, maybe I got some of you, ladies. But thank you for all of that. My heart was, god damn it, my English can't keep up with what I want to say. I'm sorry, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy with how that worked out. Just one thing to all the people which now only subscribe for the GBA. Like, I see that there are many people just because of the views fluctuation become my regular content and my GBA content. That's fine. I don't criticize you if you only subscribe for the GBA, but the only thing I ask for you now is if you only here for the GBA, no critique from my way. That's fine. You enjoy the content you enjoy, but if you're only here for GBA content, unsub please from my channel and come back once the GBA starts if you feel like it. I don't need dead subscribers on my channel. Of course, you can stay if you want to and check out the video if you feel like it, but if you already know this guy, I was only here to see the GBA matches, then that's fine with me. You can come back next season, but I rather have a smaller channel with active subs than now a channel full of dead subs till the new season starts. I know probably won't do that because you basically can just stay here, but maybe some do. Maybe you are motivated now to try something out of my content, so you're not a dead sub. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate everything you did for me in the GBA season. You don't have to do anything more than that for in the break with my other content, but if you feel like it, I'm happy about that. But yeah, that's all I want to say in the end. Thank you for everything, for all the fans, to the GBA itself, to all the coaches. Thank you for an amazing season. It was a blast from my side, even though we did not reach what we wanted to reach. But I met some great guys. I met some great guys as coaches, as fans, as analyst, and I met a bunch of new people. That was we're creating the channel. I want to do more with the community. I want to meet people in the community and do stuff with them, and the GBA opened the door to a whole new world. I think you know that song from Aladdin. But okay, I started to ramble. That's all I want to say. Thank you for everything. And yeah, you don't need to like this video. It's more of an update one. It's not really effort in this video. I just talk. So don't like this. Leave your comments if you have any questions for last season or the upcoming season, like I already said. And yeah, hit me on Twitter, Facebook, all the links in the description. I will see you next time. Bullshit on Fan, Season 5, we are out.